Hey friends, my name is C and you're watching here MakesItEasy. And welcome back to a new video for A-level First Math, and today we're at 4.4 for the expressions relating to the roots of a polynomial for the questions video. And we'll move on to the first question, but before we get into it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And we'll get started with the first question. And these questions are from exercise 40 from the Core Peer 1 textbook. So anyways, here's question 1. A quadratic equation has roots alpha and beta. Given that alpha plus beta equals 4 and alpha beta equals 3, find these 4 expressions. And I'll split into 4 different columns so that it's easy to answer them. So the first one, 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. So we saw this, and this was part of the video last lesson. And this is the roots of reciprocal, where we times this by beta and times this by alpha to get alpha plus beta over alpha beta, so that we make the denominator the same. And alpha plus beta is equal to 4 and alpha beta is 3, therefore this equals 4 over 3, like so. 4 over 3. And part 2, alpha squared times beta squared. So we know that we can pull the power out because this is similar to the indices rule. So it'll be alpha beta squared, and alpha beta is equal to 3, so it'll be 3 squared. And this will be equal to 3 times 3 is 9, like so. And the third part, alpha squared plus beta squared. And this is equal to alpha plus beta squared, everything squared, minus squared minus 2 alpha beta. Because what we do is that if we were to expand this, it'll be alpha squared plus 2 alpha beta plus beta squared, right? And we only want alpha squared plus beta squared, so we have to minus 2 alpha beta. So alpha plus beta is equal to 4, so 4 squared, minus 2 alpha beta is 3, so it'll be 3. So it'll be 16 minus 6, which is equal to 10. Right, so. And part D, alpha cube plus beta cube. So we know that from last lesson, this is one of the rules. So this is equal to alpha plus beta, everything cubed, minus 3 times the sum of product pairs, which is alpha beta only, and the sum of roots alpha plus beta. And this is equal to alpha plus beta is equal to 4, so 4 cubed, minus 3 times 4, sorry, 3 times 3 first, and 3 times 4 is the same thing, like so. And this will simplify to 28. Because 4 cubed is 64, and minus the rest, like so. And then we have question 4, or the second question. A cube equation has roots alpha, beta, and gamma. Given that alpha plus beta plus gamma equals 2, the sum of product pairs equals the sum of root pairs equals minus 3, and alpha, beta, gamma equals 4. Find these 4 expressions. I'll split into 4 different columns as like so. Like so. And the first part is basically the sum, the roots of reciprocals as well. So 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta plus 1 over gamma. And this will be simplified to alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha all over alpha beta gamma, like so. So alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma delta is plus gamma alpha, not gamma delta, is equal to minus 3, like so. So it'll be minus 3. And alpha beta gamma is equal to 4, like so. So therefore this expression is equal to minus 3 over 4. And the second part, alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared. So as we saw just now, it will be equal to alpha plus beta plus gamma squared minus the sum of product pairs, which is equal to minus 2 times the sum of product pairs. So this will be equal to alpha plus beta plus gamma squared will be equal to 2 squared, minus 2 times alpha beta, the sum of product pairs is equal to minus 3. So it will be 4 plus 6, which is equal to 10. Like so. 10. 10, like so. And part C, alpha cube plus beta cube plus gamma cube. So this is a little more complicated. So this will be equal to alpha plus beta plus gamma cube minus 3 times the sum of product pairs times the sum of roots, sum of alpha, plus 3 times the sum of all the roots, like so, the product of all the roots, sorry. And this is a quite complicated one. So alpha plus beta plus gamma cubed is equal to 2 cubed, which is 8. Minus 3 times alpha beta, the sum of alpha of product pairs, which is minus 3, times by the sum of roots, which is which is 2. Like so, plus 3 times the sum of the products, which is 4. And this simplifies to 38. So 38, like so, 38. And part D, alpha beta squared plus beta gamma squared plus gamma alpha squared. So this looks a bit complicated because it seems that we haven't encountered this, and we haven't, but we can use what we've learned before to like solve this question. So we can notice that this is basically similar to this. That means that instead of just alpha plus beta plus gamma, we'll do alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma delta. So what I mean is that the alpha beta squared plus beta gamma squared plus gamma alpha squared, this will be equal to alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha all squared minus 2 times alpha beta gamma times alpha plus beta plus gamma, which is equal to minus 3 squared, 9, times 2, sorry, not times, but minus 2 times alpha beta gamma, 4, times the sum of roots, which is 2. So this basically means it's 9 minus 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 minus 8 times 2 is minus 16. So it will be 9 minus 16, which is equal to minus 7, like so. And we have next question. A quartic equation has root alpha and beta and gamma and delta. Given that alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta equals 3, and the other information, find out the following expressions. So I'll split into 3 different columns, so it's easy to answer them as well. So the first part, 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta plus 1 over gamma plus 1 over delta. It's quite a standard answer. It will be equal to the sum of roots, sum of triples of roots over alpha beta gamma delta, like so. So alpha beta gamma plus alpha gamma delta plus alpha beta delta plus beta gamma delta is equal to minus 4. So this is minus 4 over alpha beta gamma delta, which is minus 2. Minus 2. Simplifying it gets us 2, like so. 2, like so. And part B, alpha squared plus beta squared plus delta squared plus gamma squared. And this is just like the rules of squares that we learned. It'll be equal to alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta squared minus 2 times the sum of product pairs, like so. And this is equal to 3 squared minus 2 times the product pairs, 5. So it'll be 9 minus 10, which is equal to minus 1. Like so, minus 1. And the last part is quite straightforward because it's just like an indices rule. So alpha to the power 4 times beta to the power 4 times gamma to the power 4 times delta to the power 4 is equal to alpha beta gamma delta to the power 4, which is equal to minus 2 to the power 4, which is basically equal to 16, like so. 1, 6, like so. 16. Oops. 16. And for the last question, the roots of the equation x to the power 4 plus 2x squared minus x plus 3 are alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Write down the values of the sum of roots, sum of alpha, beta, gamma, and alpha, beta, gamma, delta. So this is really tricky, as you have to know that this is equal is plus 0x cubed because there's an x cubed term missing there. So let's start with the first part A. So the sum of alpha is equal to the sum of roots, which is minus b over a. And as you know, the b coefficient is the x cubed coefficient is 0. So this is just equal to 0, like so. And the sum of alpha beta is equal to c over a. And c is 2, and b is 1, and a is 1. So this is equal to 2, like so. Yeah. And the third expression, the sum of alpha, beta, gamma, this is equal to minus d over a, and d is a, b, c, d. D is minus 1, so minus 1 is 1. 1 over a, where a is 1, therefore it's just 1. Like so, 1. And partly, the last expression, the alpha, beta, gamma, delta is equal to e over a, and e is 3 and a is 1, so it's just equal to 3, like so, 3. So part B, find the values of alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta. So this can be simplified into, as we mentioned, the sum of alpha, beta, gamma over alpha, beta, gamma, delta, which is equal to 1 over 3, right? So this is 1 over 3, let me just use the new color, 1 over 3, like so. And part II, alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared plus delta squared. So this can be simplified into alpha plus beta plus the gamma plus delta, all squared, minus the sum of product pairs, alpha, beta, and this is equal to 0 squared, because this is equal to 0. So 0 squared minus 2 times the sum of alpha, beta, or the sum of product pairs, which is 2. And therefore it will just be minus 4, like so. And the last part, we just have to expand it because it's quite a complicated one, or like a long one. So let's just first expand these two brackets. So it will be alpha, beta plus alpha plus beta plus 1 times gamma plus 1 plus delta times delta plus 1. And this is equal to alpha, beta, gamma plus alpha, beta plus alpha, gamma plus alpha plus beta, gamma plus beta plus gamma plus 1. Oops, it's quite a long one, times delta plus 1. And we need to do it all over again to find the sum. So it'll be alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta. Oops. It'll be alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta plus alpha, beta, delta, gamma, and plus alpha, beta, delta, and so on. And I won't bore you with all these calculations. And we know that this is equal to, and if you were to group all of them together, it'll be equal to alpha, beta, gamma, delta, plus the sum of the triples, alpha, beta, delta, plus the sum of product pairs, so sum of product pairs, plus 2, like so, right? So therefore this gets us, let me just spread it up here, it'll be equal to, the alpha, beta, gamma, delta is equal to 3, so it'll be 3, plus the sum of the triples is equal to 1, so plus 1, plus 2, because the sum of product pairs is equal to 2, and plus, sorry, this should be plus 1, not plus 2, plus 1, and plus 1, so it'll be 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. And that is the final answer. And that's it for this rules and examples video for 4.4 for the expressions relating to the roots of a polynomial for the questions video. And I hope you all find it useful and helpful, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe and ring the notification button so that you don't miss any future videos. And if you have any questions regarding my channel or my YouTube or my Instagram, you can leave them down below and I'll reply to them. And check out my social media in the description, for example LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram. And if you need any learning resources or any teaching resources, you can check out my website in the description, or you can type it out in your browser at www.makesiteasy.com. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be another lesson for 4.5 under the same topic of roots of polynomials, which will be fun. But anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. But until then, stay safe and happy learning.